FAFO. These people are in their find out season. They really thought that they were special for some strange reason. These people voted for Trump, and now their son is in ICE detention. Their son was a green card holder from Argentina, and now he's in ICE detention. Deborah Ray and her husband Martin Verde, like Trump's get tough on undocumented immigrants stance, but they didn't think he would go after legal immigrants like their son because obviously they care. These people, like I said, a lot of these people really think that they are white adjacent. That's the reason why I call them spicy mayo. They really thought that they were going to get the benefits because they had a piece of paper. These people don't care. You're still brown. This article is behind a paywall. That's okay. Other outlets are reporting on it. I just wanted y'all to see this couple. Newsweek put out the article as well, but Trump was on the front. It says Trump voting parents feel betrayed after ICE agents detain their son. Argentine American couple Martin Verde and Dbor Ray told the Atlanta Journal-Constitution they felt let down by the administration after their son, Augustinine Gentile, 31, a green card holder, was sent to Stewart Detention Center in South Georgia. With roughly 1,700 detainees, the center is the country's second largest immigrant jail. Newsweek reached out to the Department of Homeland Security and Core Civic, the company that operated Stewart Detention Center, for comment. Why it matters. Trump has made immigration a key priority of his second administration. He has vowed to crack down on border security, carry out mass deportations, and end federal benefits for people entering the country. His administration is also targeting people with green cards, despite the fact that green cards equate to lawful permanent residency. In April, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services posted on X that a green card holder's stay in the country is not guaranteed and could be revoked if they are deemed a threat to national interests. Meanwhile, the detention this year of Mahmoud Khalil, a lawful permanent resident and activist, sparked outrage among immigrant advocates. The administration justified the detention under a statute that allows deportation based on potentially serious adverse foreign policy consequences. What to know? Gentile, a father of two, was stopped by officials in February after returning from a trip abroad and landing at Los Angeles International Airport. DHS officials confiscated his green card and Argentine passport and directed him to report to a Customs and Border Protection office in Raleigh, North Carolina, where he lives. Officials there detained him and sent him to a local county jail. He was then transferred to Stewart Detention Center. Gentile was convicted in 2020 of infliction of injury and sentenced to 3 years probation, according to court records seen by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. The case was closed in 2023. He moved with his family from Argentina to the U.S. in the 1990s as a toddler. I have no idea why Latino MAGA is a thing. Just like I don't understand why Black MAGA is a thing, why gay MAGA is a thing, why poor MAGA is a thing. But these people really thought that they were special. They thought that they were spicy mayo, that they were white adjacent. And now they're seeing that they are not special. But this is what they voted for. And now they get to stress out every day for their son and for their grandchildren getting their father back because this is what they voted for. FAFO for them, and I have another story. Now we're about to talk about Trump tariffs and how they're about to tear up some of these states, some of these cities. So this is an article from the Washington Post. It says Trump tariffs set off doubts. Even in Rust Belt area, he pledged to restore. It says many people in Pennsylvania's Lehigh Valley, a major Rust Belt manufacturing hub in an election deciding swing state, are skeptical that the president can deliver. Now, Lehigh Valley, I do remember that city name. I think, Mack Truck. That is where Mack Truck is, and Mack Truck was laying off people or will be laying off people soon because of the tariffs and everything. So let's look at this article. All right, let's do the article. It says 1 month into a sweeping new tariff regime that Trump vowed would bring jobs and factories roaring back, a Pennsylvania manufacturing hub is full of skepticism. Trump once told supporters here in the Lehigh Valley that they know better than almost any place in this country how global trade has outsourced your industries and wiped out your steel mills. Now, even in one of the communities the president suggested would benefit most from his tariffs, his economic overhaul is disrupting lives and testing some voters' patience in an election deciding swing state. New hires at a local truck making plant had just started on the shop floor last month when their company announced an abrupt change. Layoffs that could hit more than 10% of the workforce and that the company blamed on tariffs and other economic uncertainty. Even Trump fans sometimes grimace at his plans to remake the world economy, worried about higher costs in a politically competitive area still scattered with lawn signs that read, Trump low prices, Kamala high prices. Okay. Almost two-thirds of Americans disapprove of Trump's handling of tariffs, and a lasting backlash could be especially consequential for Republicans in areas such as the Lehigh Valley, a perennial Rust Belt battleground where Trump's campaign pitch resonated with many voters. Trump's tariffs have put pressure on some of the GOP's most vulnerable incumbents in Congress, including the local congressman, freshman Ryan McKenzie, as they try to defend Trump's agenda while also acknowledging their constituents' concerns. Officials here are doubtful that any tariffs, no matter how drastic, can recreate the economy of the past, when one steel company's facility in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania alone employed 30,000 people. Manufacturing is still the biggest industry in the Lehigh Valley, with investment booming in recent years. At the same time, leaders are proud that they managed to diversify their economy after Bethlehem Steel collapsed decades ago. Brian Higgins, a longtime Republican commissioner in Lower Macungie Township, just north of the truck plant, said, "It's hard to imagine manufacturing rebounding to where it was decades ago. I don't think anybody thinks that you can bring back the Lehigh Valley back to what it was. Could we bring some manufacturing back there? Probably, but not to the extent that people believe. I just think it's going to cost more money and then it's going to hurt us with retaliatory tariffs," said Higgins, a self described Reagan Republican who could not bring himself to vote for Trump. Trump argues that levying tariffs on imports will give him leverage for trade deals and ultimately compel companies to ramp up production in the U.S. Critics say the strategy will raise costs for consumers and destabilize the economy while leaving businesses too uncertain about the future to make plans. The Trump administration's policies are delivering much needed economic relief for everyday Americans while laying the groundwork for a long term restoration of American greatness. White House spokesman Kush Desai said in a statement, noting that inflation cooled in March and that gross private domestic investment has increased by 22% in the first quarter of 2025. Employers added 177,000 jobs last month, a strong showing despite the upheaval from Trump's tariffs announced April 2nd. In interviews, Lehigh Valley voters who had heard about the Mac layoffs often brushed them off as routine. The company has downsized before, or they said they weren't sure they believed the firm's explanation. I do want to remind us all that a lot of these companies invested heavily before the tariffs so that they could get inventory before the tariffs hit so that they wouldn't have to pay those additional costs. So I'm just putting that out there. But many, including Trump voters, also said they are bracing for economic pain in the Valley, which spans two counties, Lehigh, which Democrat Kamala Harris won by less than 3 points last fall, and Northampton, a bellwether that frequently backs the winners of the presidential elections and went narrowly for Trump. Adrienne Reinheimer, 51, says she's building a house and might push back her timeline if prices get too high. Retiree Rick Janko was mostly supportive of the president's agenda, but rolled his eyes at claims that tariffs will bring manufacturing back. Like Reinheimer, he cast his ballot for Trump last year. "How much are you going to pay for something?" Janko asked. "Let's be honest. Anything bought in America is always more expensive." The people that voted for him, despite the fact that he talked about tariffs, I really hope that they just keep on believing and don't brace for anything and just think that it's just all they got to do is ride it out. I wish the best for them, No, I don't. That's a lie. I hope that they get it worse in first. And I hope that they just keep on believing and that they don't take any kind of mechanisms to brace or secure their lives or anything. Just believe. Anyways, join the conversation. This article is long, but I'm going to end it here. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.